My name is Callie Bonds, and I am doing my art history final on Testament, the sculpture of the Little Rock Nine located in Little Rock, Arkansas. The Little Rock Nine were 9 African American students who first integrated Central High School in Little Rock, Arkansas in September 1957. The Brown versus the Board of Education decision ended racial segregation in public schools in 1954, but these 9 students were some of the first to put the new school system into action. I chose to do this piece for my project because I am from North Little Rock and had heard about the Little Rock Nine all of my life and had always been interested in it. I am proud to be from a city that made these impactful steps during the Civil Rights Movement and after some struggle ended in success. The statue Testament is located on the south end of the Arkansas State Capitol. It depicts 9 students: Melba Patillo, Carlotta Walls, Elizabeth Eckford, Ernest Green, Gloria Ray, Jefferson Thomas, Minnie Jean Brown, Terrence Roberts, and Thelma Mothershed, walking into what could be the hardest day of their life. The viewer's eyes first fall on Elizabeth Eckford, who stands at the front of the crowd and seems to be leading the students into battle. She gives off a confidence that could take on anything and everything, and then you notice the other brave students following behind her. A full-body sculpture in the round of each student stands on the concrete base, carrying books, walking, or supporting another student. Some students are spaced about 2 to 3 feet apart, while a couple are touching. The students are in nice attire and are holding their heads high. The Waymark Gallery tells us that the artwork was sculpted by husband and wife duo John and Kathy Deering. The medium of the students is bronze, and the base they're standing on is concrete. The students range from about 5.5 to 6 feet tall, and the monument was unveiled on August 30th, 2015. The first day of school should be an exciting time, but as you can see in the sculptures, the faces of these high schoolers are anything but excited. Deering and Deering did a wonderful job at making the viewers stop and double take at the expression on the children's faces. The girls' dresses have the illusion of blowing in the wind with the way the sculpture was modeled. This aspect gives the work the illusion of movement and a visual of what it might have actually looked like when these kids walked up to the school. While they aren't necessarily as excited as your average student might be on their first day of school, they most definitely are not afraid. These are the faces of bold, determined teens ready to take a stand and make a difference in the still very unaccepting and judgmental South. An interesting point about this art is that there are no obvious clues that point to the fact that these are modeled after African American students. If you did not know the story behind the statue at all, or had never seen it before, you would have to read the plaque located behind the art to even know that it is of African American students. The entire work is one color, bronze. It is the color of a metal, not a person, which is interesting considering the whole point of the piece was the color of the subject's skin. Another interesting point is the location of the artwork. According to the Little Rock Nine Foundation, which was also a patron of the sculpture, the core reasoning behind the struggle these kids had on their first day was not only generations of racism that ran through the school and showed through its other students, but also because of the governor of Arkansas at the time of the incident. Orville Faubus was an openly racist man with intentions to defy the Brown versus the Board of Education decision outright. On September 2, 1957, he ordered the National Guard to block the doors to the school, preventing the African American students from entering. He claimed that this was a justified act because he needed to preserve the peace and prevent potential violence from breaking out. President Dwight Eisenhower did not see eye to eye with Faubus. He dispatched Army troops and the Federal Guard to escort the students into the school when the mobs of segregationalists became too much for them to handle. The irony behind all of this is that the statue stands right outside of the window of what would have been Governor Faubus's office. Nobody was able to silence these young warriors. Testament is from the postmodern contemporary period. There was a lot of other art from this period in Little Rock, and many of them are very similar. Several are made of bronze, but the difference is that most of the other metal, postmodern contemporary pieces are abstract. The images are distorted and they represent abstract ideas, unlike Testament, which represents a specific event from history. Most of the metal pieces from this period in Little Rock do not have images of people anywhere on them. their shapes and lines, but do not resemble a pre-existing object. The sculpture Sizzling Sisters by sculptor Wayne Salgay is also located in Little Rock, is from the postmodern contemporary period, is modeled after humans, and is made of bronze, but looks very different from Testament. This work only stands about 2 feet tall, and the girls sculpted are very abstract. Their hair seems to be on fire as they perform a ballet, giving the statue its name. The viewer would have to think about the meaning of this piece of art in a very different way than they would think about the iconography of the Little Rock Nine. Someone looking at Testament knows exactly what the piece is about. The figures are obvious and there isn't much left up for interpretation. The purpose of this piece is to remind us about the struggles from this time period and to memorialize these important people in American history. Sizzling Sisters does have a little more of a hidden meaning. At first glance, it may not be obvious that these are sisters or that their hair is fire. The name helps with the clarification, but could still take some contemplating before the viewer is 100% sure of what they are looking at. Despite all of these differences, the statues favor each other in their composition. Both pieces were made of bronze, leading them to be very similar in color. They both also have very distinct strokes where the bronze was molded or shaped. The metal isn't smooth and flowing, but choppy and broken up. Each student has a plaque on the outskirts of the base next to their statue with their quote on it. Some were short, like Thelma Mothershed's, which reads, "To God be the glory," but my favorite was that of Dr. Terrence Roberts. It reads, "My choice to join this group of 9 was an act of bearing witness to the sacrifices of all those who have spilled their blood in the ongoing fight for equal rights in this country. My acceptance of the baton they have passed along is my testimony of future generations who must finish the work started by the ancestors we share in common." When the people of this country hated Dr. Roberts and all other African Americans, he chose to stand with the side to make it a better place. He acknowledges and appreciates those fighting on the battlefield for his country, even when the people of the country wanted nothing to do with him. He also gives a challenge to the future generations to finish what he started and to never stop working towards a better tomorrow. Deering and Deering were able to conquer the daunting task of creating a monument to memorialize this significant piece of American history, and I am so grateful because now there is a beautiful piece of art for me to show my friends and family. Testament will always stand strong, representing what these 9 brave students stood strong for.